Hello everyone, my name is Jenna. I'm the Associate Director at the Douglas County Historical Society in Alexandria, Minnesota, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of the beautiful quilts that we have in our collection here. This first quilt is an example of a style known as crazy quilts. This style first became popular in the late 1800s. These quilts have smaller pieces of fabric without a pattern or motif. Lots of different colors and fabric types were used, and the seams and pieces are embellished with embroidery. These quilts started as a trend among upper-class women in mostly urban areas who used the many different types of exotic fabric available to them. Textile making had become industrialized at that time. The trend moved to rural areas eventually, where it took a more practical edge. Crazy quilts could be made of all sorts of different fabric scraps, so nothing went to waste. This particular quilt has some gorgeous and really unique embroidery. It was made by Olea Ellefson Omland of Home City, Minnesota in 1897. This is a great example of a practical quilt that still shows off great embroidery skill. In 1918, during World War I, Cora Hansen was made chairman of the Red Cross in Hudson Township. She decided to make a personalized quilt as a fundraiser. Mrs. Hansen made 42 blocks out of white fabric. They were circulated throughout her township and the greater county. Names could be written on the blocks for a minimum donation of 10 cents, with larger amounts sometimes securing their own block. Cora Hansen donated her time and the materials needed to make the quilt from start to finish. The sashing between the blocks was done with a blue fabric, which is now faded to a tan color over a century later. The center of the quilt bore a red cross to honor the organization. The quilt was handmade by the Ferrata Presbyterian Ladies' Aid, of which Cora Hansen was also a member. Upon completion, the quilt was auctioned by the Red Cross at the Fall Festival on Main Street, which is today Broadway, in Alexandria. Dr. C.L. Cole was the auctioneer and also the highest bidder. He immediately returned the quilt to the auction block to be sold again. The second buyer was the Farmers National Bank. The two bidders actually returned the quilt to Cora Hansen as a gift after the auction was done. The quilt raised over $200 for the Red Cross during World War I, a sum of nearly $3,500 today. The last quilt I'll show you today was made by Hope Bisek. She taught at District School number 30 near Carlos, Minnesota, known as Jefferson School. The quilt includes all the names of the students she taught from 1935 to 1945. Hope copied the personal signature of each student as well as her own with embroidery. This quilt is a wonderful example of how quilts can be made for all sorts of reasons, to commemorate events, to keep warm, even just to create a beautiful piece of art. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more information, please check out our website at www.dchsmn.org.